Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes, the John Hughes 1987 comedy film starring Steve Martin, John Candy. Well, what's your history with this movie?
It's weird because I've seen this maybe a dozen times, but it's been forever. It's been at least over 10 years since I'd watched this from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And to me, I always remember it being like, wow, this is like the only Thanksgiving movie, and that kind of stood out. And obviously, John Hughes.
Yeah.
He's the man. Or he was the man. He had a bunch of classic hits, and this is, I would say, one of his top movies.
Yeah, I would say it is his top movie.
You'd say it's his best. That's your hot take on this, huh?
A little bit. Of the ones I've seen, which are 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, and Uncle Buck, so pretty much the ones that matter. I haven't seen Weird Science. That's the only other one that I haven't seen of his that I have intentions of seeing.
It's been a long time since I've seen Weird Science. I might be remembering this wrong. It feels like the least John Hughesy of his movies.
Yeah, it's
good though.
It's very goony from what I've heard. But yeah, this is a movie that I just never. I'd probably seen the first 20, or I probably had seen the first 20 minutes of this movie 5 or 6 times, like on TV. I never really sat down and watched it for the first time ever until now.
Okay, so let's get started. So off the bat, you've got 2 characters that are pretty. You get their deal pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is though about Steve Martin's character? Why I like this movie is it's a movie about gray area characters. Mm-hmm. Because Del is obviously he's supposed to be super annoying, but there's like this movie, it understands like the difference between like someone who means well and someone who's just a bad person. Mm-hmm. Like and that's the same thing with Steve Martin. There's like some people are a little bit cranky, but like that doesn't mean they have no humanity.
Right.
Because like I love the very, very first scene of this where it's just silent. He's just sitting in the advertising executive's office. He's like, Jesus, can we move this along?
Right.
I've got to go. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you can level with him and you don't think he's being unreasonable.
Right.
It takes a while for you to see like his sort of nasty side. Mm-hmm. And that's, of course, when Del comes along.
Good old Del Griffith, played brilliantly by John Candy. I think that John Candy was John Hughes' muse.
Yeah.
The Hughes muse, if you will. I think
he was the real MVP.
He was, and I already said that I think it's the best movie that John Hughes has made. But I'm going to tell you why. So, here's the thing. I've mentioned this to you before. I think that movies like Ferris Bueller, 16 Candles, what's the other one? Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Movies about school in particular in the 80s. They're good movies, and they're good little time capsules. But I don't think, and I'm going to use a phrase that you don't like, I don't think they age very well. And by that, I don't just mean like, oh, there was a joke that wouldn't fly today, or like there's a thing that's like,
that reference isn't like
is
that's
dated or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not just that. It's that there are aspects of all those movies that just, like if you were to show The Breakfast Club to a 14-year-old today, I don't know if they would really get it.
He'd be like, bro, where's the trap music?
Well, or like, what about the phones and shit? Because there are huge elements of what school is like now that are just not a part of those movies. And like the part where like Anthony Michael Hall talks about how he brought a gun to school and like wanted to kill himself. It's like that fucking part like would have a huge connotation only a few years later.
Yeah.
So like my point is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is timeless. This movie doesn't age because this shit still happens. There's nothing about it that's dated.
Yeah.
Like, people still commute. People still have to deal with shitty people. Like, yeah, they don't have cell phones and there's no Uber, but that's not what the movie's about. Like, Breakfast Club is about school.
Actually, it kind of is.
Well, yeah, but it's
I was actually going to say an Uber would probably solve this movie almost immediately.
Well, it's like shitty weather, though. I don't know if those would operate. And also, I don't know how Uber operates across state lines, or I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he could have taken one to an airport that was working.
But that's that's a small thing. That's not like there's an entire facet of school life today that is not represented in, 3 of the most influential school movies of all time, according to, a lot of people who grew up with it. Not saying they're bad, but they're more dated.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like by that same argument where you're saying, well, this is the movie's about family and traveling and whatever. It's like, well, you could say Breakfast Club's about like cliques and, how you fit in.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's about like the pressures of school and all of that, but like I don't know if you could talk about the pressures of school nowadays without talking about the social media element of how students interact. There are certain things where if you were to show a 14-year-old Breakfast Club, I feel like they would be way more into planes, trains, and automobiles because they're like, yeah, I understand that traveling's hard during the holidays. Like, that's something that's never changed. You know what I mean?
High school is hard. That's not going to change.
But the reasons why change.
Fine.
The reasons why commuting sucks are still the same. Weather gets shitty during this time of year, and people are traveling.
You could say the same about high school. It's like kids are dicks to each other.
Yeah, but it's
just like the mode in which you travel the modes in which you travel have changed. The modes in which you're a jerk to people have changed.
Well, there's still planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes, there are.
I don't know. I just feel like
whatever. Okay,
this age is the best out of any John Hughes movie. There's nothing in this where I'm like, I don't know how that would fly today, or I don't know how that would transfer to a person nowadays. It's just like there isn't anything. Everything is fine. Like, this is a timeless idea. Like, how to not be shitty to people. It's like, this is like anybody can get behind this and at any point. You know?
I think that the perfect moment that kind of sums up everything this movie's about.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a lot earlier on than I remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's in
like Act 1.
Yeah, it's like the end of Act 1 is when John Hughes just lets him have it with that you want to hurt me monologue.
Oh man, it is just
every line of it is completely perfect.
I honestly think that like just for that scene alone, like John Candy should have got a fucking Oscar nod. Like the dude is just he's fucking awesome. He's a first of all, he's a comedic like master of his craft, but man, that scene is just like wow, way to just make everybody, not only Neil Page, but like way to just make every human being that's watching this feel like dog shit. It's great. And to see them as 2 human beings grow, like, and just be friends with each other by the end of the movie, spoilers.
Yeah. Well, we're just doing full spoilers.
Yeah. That's, I mean, damn it. And like the revelation that his wife's dead, which is a little, like you can see that coming, but god damn it, that's what Thanksgiving's all about.
But that doesn't make it any less like sad or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Well, because they do it like little by little. Mm-hmm. At first, you meet him and he's just kind of annoying,
right?
And you're like, oh, he's talking about his wife or like whatever. Who cares? And then little by little, it's like I haven't been home in years.
Yeah.
Well, they basically they pretty much spell that out for you in the montage
to give you the clip show.
Yeah,
it's like hey, stupid.
Yeah. Just in case you're a complete dumbass, we're gonna spell this out for you.
And they got the fucking music going though. It's like that's like god damn it.
Yeah, man. You know what? You're right though. It's amazing how the characters they both go through an arc.
Yeah, they both change for the better.
Well, and I think that's part of it's like, or what's his name? Sorry, Del. Mm-hmm. He's the way he is as a defense mechanism.
Yeah, he's this bubbly guy who's just always being a goof and making mistakes unbeknownst to him. Yeah, and well, this is a comedy first and foremost. Right. Let's talk about how goddamn funny this movie is. Yeah. I just like to say the whole automobile sequence where they're driving on the highway, like I'd never seen that fully. What gotta be for me like one of the most carefully and expertly constructed scenes of comedic genius ever. Like from the opening, like
talking about like you're going the wrong way.
From there all the way to like the end where the car starts on fire. Like this is just brilliant. Like it's so fucking funny. Like how could they know where we're going? God damn it. It's really funny. It's like a perfect exercise in like dramatic irony and like, no, idiot, you are going the wrong way. Like, and the car starts on fire and his wallet's in there and you're like, this is just a comedy of errors in the best fucking way. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like good writing. It's like you build things off of one another. Right. And it really builds to something hilarious.
Yeah, it's not just like it's not like the long walk off a short pier, you know. They give you a, you know, like each scene has like mini punchlines before you get to the big one.
Right.
I think John Hughes is kind of a master at that.
He is.
Especially in his writing.
Yeah, and I think that this for me is like the one that, I don't know, like I thought his other movies are really, a lot of them are funny. Like I would say of his other ones, like I would say 16 Candles and Ferris Bueller are the funnier ones, because obviously Breakfast Club is like a little bit more serious sometimes. This, for me, I was like, I don't know why, like, every joke is hitting me kind of equally. I'm like, this is just funny, period. Like, every joke.
I think it's just because we all know someone like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or we all know someone like both of them.
Oh, yeah. For sure, both of them.
And it's just like, I mean, this is done to death with buddy movies. It's like, how would these guys ever get hooked up, you know?
Yeah.
But happenstance and crappy weather just, you know... It's like, all right, now we've got a reason. Mm-hmm. And there's the whole thing, like, I tried calling all hotels, like, I tried to tell you.
Yeah, and like just like the bullshit that happens, like they get robbed, or like, the what is it? He takes his car because his card gets swapped with him, you know, like shit like that.
Yeah,
man, and the parking lot scene with the rental car, legendary scene. We've referenced it here.
Yeah,
there's just so many iconic moments in this where you're like, oh, this part, you know, and.
Also, during that highway chase, I just want to point one thing out. There's some shades of Home Alone in there.
There's skeletons.
Yeah. There's also a devil. I'm like, so that's where this weird infatuation with having a movie that's mostly realistic for the first two acts and then randomly throwing in shit that's like almost cartoonish came from. Also, it's like, it's almost Three Stooges-esque.
Yeah.
In terms of cleverness. You're going the wrong way. How could he know where we're going?
Right.
That's just funny.
He's singing the fucking singing Mess Around.
Yeah.
And it's just like his seatbelt, the scene where his seatbelt gets caught and his both of his arms get caught. It's great. You
know what the thing is about his slapstick that's so much better?
It's super realistic.
Yes. It's not like, I hate the slapstick where it's like, oh, I'm going to fall down and wail my arms when I fall. It's like, no, just fall.
Yeah.
Like there's an art to slapstick. It has to feel like, God damn it, I got my arm trapped. It's like, it's really stuck.
Yeah, no, and it's like...
It's not like, oh, I'm going to like over-exaggerate my motions.
Right. And the effect is like, you're simultaneously as if you were like stressed out and laughing.
Yes.
You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because that scene, I'm like, just get your fucking arm out.
Right.
Just take it out of your coat.
Oh, man.
God. Man, that's good stuff. Also, while on the subject of Home Alone, we got some Home Alone alums in this.
We do.
We got the cop at the police station on the phone.
We do.
He plays the Wichita cab driver.
Yeah. We also got the one, I don't even know what to describe him as. The one airport.
Oh, I know who you're.
Guy.
She's got a whole box full of them. Dangly ones.
Let's go. And like that guy. I'm like, he's a John Hughes guy.
he's the other snoring guy when he was in the middle.
By the way, the guy whose truck they get into. Do you know who that is?
No.
That's Dylan Baker.
Really?
Dylan Baker, Dr. Kurt Connors from fucking... That's fucking him.
No, is it?
That's him. It's a young Dylan Baker.
A young Dylan Baker.
Yeah, he's like the nephew of the one hotel owner guy.
So he really is a supremely top shelf that guy.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
I mean, we got some other people here, like, beyond just... we got some Ben Stein, another John Hughes alum, some Kevin Bacon...
Was he the robber, right?
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
He was the fucking guy that takes Steve Martin's cab.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's right. I don't remember who the robber was. I think it was just...
some kid.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's just... Oh, man. I was just kind of overcome. I was like, wow, I feel fucking stupid for not having seen this. You ever watch movies like that?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? What am I doing with my life? Why did I wait this long? You know?
So, I mean, even though it wasn't very long, I felt like that with... like Whiplash.
Yeah.
Like, why did I wait to see this?
I had that with Whiplash because I doubted it. Like, I walked into it and I'm like, this movie. And I was like, I'm fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, this movie's pretty dope.
But back to, Planes, what the fuck is it? It's
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Trains, and Automobiles. Man, titles, not my forte today.
No, that's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with you to a point that the themes are very strong in this one.
Yeah, no, they're super strong. And, like, I would say for me, like, they were the most powerful, like, that I can recall from any. I mean, they get there for Breakfast Club for me, but, like, this, like, at the end, they got the music swelling, and, like, he goes up and he's like,
Yeah.
Del, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
God, just take him home, Steve. And, like, at the end, like, with.
Take him home, Neil.
Oh, yeah, take him home, Neil.
Yeah.
Come on. And then he does, and, Del's watching as Steve Martin, Neil, hugs his wife, and they got the
You know, it's actually one thing I thought that was actually a smart decision of them.
What's that?
To not really have the rest of the family in it that much.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, one thing I feel like a new, like, movie would try to do is, like, make a B story out of it. And I don't mean like a love story. I mean like a sitcom B story.
Right.
Like, oh, the kids are really driving me crazy.
Yeah, they just have like a small
it's just
small
like
moment.
Enough. No, they have a couple of them like interspersed.
When's Dad going to be home?
Yeah. It's just like that's enough.
Yeah.
We don't need we don't need a lot of this. And I thought that was a smart decision to make sure that it was almost entirely focused on Neil and Del.
Yeah. Why doesn't he give me noogies?
Yeah.
What does he say? I prefer noogies.
Yeah. Oh, it's like noogies or Indian burns or whatever.
Yeah. I prefer noogies.
One less wholesome way to interpret the ending. So Del. Well,
oh, God. He's finally infiltrated his way into the family.
Well, that's his second one.
Yeah.
My version is, isn't that nice? He has his wife.
Yeah, and I don't. My wife is dead.
Just goes fucking crazy.
Oh, man. And that's why they did the freeze frame.
Yeah.
Because that was the moment. That was the moment before.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles 2. Del's Revenge. he's like talking to like a fucking like a wicker doll version of his wife. Oh, Marie, I'll get them for you.
What a career on John Candy, by the way.
Yeah.
Got some cool runnings.
The fact that this role is I would say it's a close. It's tied for first with me for Gus Zielinski, the Polka King of the Midwest.
Yeah, I would say me too. I mean, I wish Gus Zielinski was in it more in Home Alone. He's in it enough, but not enough. At the same time, you're like, come on, man. But he had a wild career, man. Stripes, Splash, Cool Runnings, Home Alone, Great Outdoors. Great Outdoors is guilty pleasure. It's not very good.
No, it's not very good at all.
No, but there's a couple good. I like the bald-headed bear. As a Bears fan, I like that was referenced. In what do you call it? They always show that scene at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's in he was Uncle Buck, which is we'll get to that later. Well, not later. That's another review for another time, is what I mean. But then, of course, this. And what do you think John Candy would be doing now if he was still around?
How the hell should I know?
Do you think he'd be doing like comedy still, or do you think he'd go like the who's like a comedian that like turned like more serious? Do you think he'd go more serious roles?
I don't know.
It's interesting. I always think about that with like Chris Farley and John Belushi too. Like, where the fuck would they be now?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say making both.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Would they go the Adam Sandler route?
Yeah, well, because he did both.
Yeah, he's still doing both. Shit. But yeah, this is that movie that's you're like, God damn it! Why is this guy gone?
Yeah, that's true. Here's one minor nitpick. This is just kind of being annoying. Mm-hmm. There's a part where they're like an hour away at most, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we better stop for the night."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Come on!"
Right.
Of course, that's just I'm just being difficult, but obviously that doesn't affect the score. So I think this is pretty obvious score for both of us.
Yeah, it's a perfect score.
Yeah, this is probably Maybe people just haven't done a Thanksgiving movie because they're like, why? It's just, we're not going to make something as good.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and I would even argue you could argue it's like amongst the best. I mean, it's the best Thanksgiving movie without even a fucking equal. It's, I would say, one of the best road movies ever, one of the best buddy movies ever. Like, it's so many different things, like, I feel like saying it's a Thanksgiving movie, it's like, yeah, but also it's just fucking really good overall. Like,
well, it's weird because it's not really a Thanksgiving movie when you think about it.
Right.
Because it's about getting home for Thanksgiving.
Right. It's a pre-Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. You might as well just be like, it's the best day before Flag Day movie ever. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Is it good or not?
No, I get what you're saying.
But it sure is though the best
Yeah.
Thanksgiving movie ever, and I will agree. It is better than We're Back.
Much better.
Yes.
So that's, I guess that's our review. That's 2 fivs out of fivs from us for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you haven't minded us ruining basically the entire movie by pretty much giving you the entire synopsis rundown, you should check it out if you haven't seen it.
Did you know that John Candy's character's wife is dead?
But she'll be back in 2. In one way or another.